G'day viewers, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be removing gold from gold connectors and other types of things from EWASTE, which is gold plated, without using nitric acid. So I'll show you what I've got. All these connectors here, these are from the jacks that plug in from amplifiers. These are from like USB plugs, all kinds of different things, and little things that you see stuck on boards that the connectors screw onto. Gold plated plugs, there's a metal surround, anything that's got gold plating. Some of them look like there's not much gold plating left on it, and some of them look like they're brand new. So there's going to be a bit of an even mix. The person I get items from to toll refine told me he can buy 20 kilos of this stuff, and he wanted to know what the yield would be. So I don't know, I'm going to have to do this and get a rough idea. Now before we carry on, before I get started on the video, I'm having trouble, as you know from past videos. YouTube says people aren't watching my entire video, and I want to stop that. So I'm going to be giving away in the next however many videos some gold pans. So these are gold cleanup pans, prospector peat, EWASTE refiner pans. You don't need to be a prospector to use these. You can be doing gold recovery from EWASTE, and like maybe with pins you might want to try and pan out, find the gold. So there's plenty of uses for these. So I'm going to be giving one away in this video, only one. So it's first in, best dressed, and it's important. Here's the rules. I'm going to be giving quite a few code words throughout the entire video. So you can't skip the video, you can't stop it short. You need to watch and listen to the entire video and write down the code words as you see them. Sometimes I will verbally say the code word, sometimes it'll be written down and it'll be somewhere within the video. I will always say first, code word is, or if it's written down, it'll have code word in brackets, so you know that's a code word, and there can't be any confusion. Now it's the first person to email me, only email me, not write the name or the words on the video or anything like that, because then other people don't have to watch it, they can cheat. So you need to keep them hidden, and you need to email me. I'll show you the email address, and peter030970@gmail.com. Now this is an example of one of the code words, and my writing is a bit rough. There's the email address if you want to pause the video and write this down. peter030970@gmail.com. Alright, now I'm going to weigh this so that we can get a rough yield of what they'll be. I've got an empty container on my scales, so I'll turn it on, and now I can take that away and put this container up there. 604 grams. So you might as well just say 600, so it's going down. I've got the aircon on, so it's blowing on the scales. So 600 grams. Now for those who aren't sure about grams in other countries and so on, 500 grams is half a kilo. 600 grams obviously is a bit more. So there's 2.2 pounds to a kilo for anybody who wants to know, not that it matters. So I'm not really good at maths. I'm going to need some of you guys to help me here at the end of the video and tell me what the yield is from 600 grams. Alright, so that's what we got started with. Now I'm going to be using my sulfuric stripping cell to recover the gold. Now I'm being as careful as I can. I cannot stress enough that this is very, very dangerous acid. Sulfuric acid at 98%. Now, most of the videos I see on YouTube, the Americans are using drain cleaner. Their drain cleaner is only about 93% or 95% at best, which is still dangerous. But 98%, I'm telling you, it'll chew the bone, the skin off your bone before you even blink. And that's when it's cold. When it's hot, it's even worse. So I've been very, very careful carrying it in with the sealing lid that goes on it, so I didn't spill any. I don't have gloves on because if I wore my silicone gloves, it would just eat right through them without even blinking an eye. It'd be eaten right through, and then I'd have melted silicone gloves all over my hands. I'm near the kitchen, and my kitchen sink is full of water with bicarb of soda dissolved in it, which will, if I get it on my skin, it'll neutralize the acid. Now, I don't plan on getting any on my skin. Take your time with this. Don't rush anything. Don't make any splashes with it. There's no need to drop things in there. Just really go slow and take your time and be careful. Sulfuric acid is worse than nitric acid as far as I'm concerned. I've got a lead bar here which the negative goes on. In there I've got a stainless steel basket. This is brand new acid, even though it's dirty. I don't know why, but from the day I opened up the I got a 20 litre bottle, and from the day I first opened it, it was clear, but then it discolored. Maybe the oxygen got to it or something, I have no idea. Nothing has been poured back into the bottle. That's exactly how it is. It's just gone really dirty for some reason, I don't know. But unfortunately you probably won't see the reaction as much where the black comes off the connectors. That's the gold coming away. So that's just trying to explain why that's that colour. I don't know what's caused it. And then here I've got a large beaker with water. So as the connectors are done, I've got a pair of tweezers. I can carefully pick them out, drop them in the water to wash them. I'm thinking that if I fill that basket as much as I can, that would make sure that they're all touching, because there would be so much packed in there that they'd definitely be touching steel somewhere. But we'll see. I think I've put a tiny bit too much acid in there because I didn't really want the basket completely submerged. I may have to try and see if I can get some of it to stay out of the solution like that, to put the clip on, because otherwise my clip will be in the solution and then it will dissolve the clip away. I'm going to see if I can get some of that to, even if I sit it like that and just put some down in here, might bend this down or something so it's further in. I'll sort that out anyway. I'll get this all set up in a minute and we'll be back. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do, I've got the negative on the lead. I've pulled up some of the stainless steel and it's now up to the side of the container, and I've got the clipped over it, and making sure there's nothing touching the basket to the lead. Now I'm just going to slowly put these in the basket. I don't have the power supply turned on yet, and I'm just going to make sure that I do this real slow. I'm not going to drop them in to make them splash. I'm going to take my time loading this basket up. There's really no hurry. You know, if you be careful and you do things slowly and carefully, then there's no reason to get hurt. If you tried pouring this in, it's going to splash everywhere and there's just no need. So I'll take my time now on filling this up, and once I'm ready I'll just turn on the power supply, which I've got here. There's a switch at the back here and it'll start working. I'll be back when I've got this loaded. I've got the basket fairly loaded up, none of it's sticking out of the acid. Now I'm going to turn on the power supply. As you can see, that's working, and you start seeing a reaction just here on the lead, all the way along the lead. See the reaction happening, and you can see from the gold here it's starting to come off all along the edge there. Now what will happen is the gold plating items along this side will strip before the ones at the back, so I'm going to need to stir them up. It's going to take quite a while. There's no point in just leaving this going, but you can see, well, I don't know if you can, I can see all the black coming off. So all these bubbles here, there's all black around it. That's the gold coming off the items. So I'm going to keep stirring it, keep checking it. It gets harder as the solution gets darker because it's harder to see. And I've still got about half a container, or a bit less than half a container. So it'll be 2 loads to go through. And hopefully there's enough gold in there to make it worthwhile. Anyway, I'll show you a bit more later on. It'd be boring if I just left it going all the time. Okay, code word acid. So this has been on for about 5 minutes now, not even, maybe 3 minutes or so. I can't get this too close because it will drip. See if I can move the camera closer. There's no gold left on them. They're really stripped well. Just checking them all over, make sure there's no gold hidden at the back or anything. And they're stripping really well. This is going a lot faster than I imagined. Some of these things take longer than others. Look at that, almost all stripped. As I said before, it's hard to see in there when it's all black, so you can only feel around. Any that have got a little bit of gold, I'll just put them back. But most of these, as you can see, they're coming up really well. See, that one's still got gold on it, so that one can get back. So this one's done. There's a tiniest bit of gold, I'll leave it there. It's done. Alright, so I'll carry on doing that. And I'll show you some more later. I dropped one out of the basket, so I'm trying to find it. I lifted the basket out so I can see what I'm doing, and as you can see, quite a lot of them are done. There's just a hand, not even a handful of ones that aren't. See, this one's still got a lot on it. A lot of them are completely done. So now it's just a matter of picking them out, and then I can replace them with another batch. And things like that still got a bit of gold on it, so I'll leave that aside. There's going to be eventually some that aren't done, but I can always pull them aside and use them another day in another batch. I've got some other things that I need to strip gold from with a stripping cell, and I should do it today, but the reason I'm not is because we're trying to find out what the yield is of this. I've got quite a few other pieces of steel with just a little bit of gold on them, and the best way to do that would be in a stripping cell, but that'll be for another video. See, I'm just taking my time, one at a time, no rush, no reason to get hurt. This is almost all done. It's only taken a few minutes. There's still got gold. There's only four pieces so far that aren't finished. 5. That one's hard because the piece in the middle is not touching the outside. It's insulated from that blue plastic. So what I may have to do is actually pull that out with a pair of cutters or something. And most of this looks like it's done. So I'll carry on doing this, and I'll put the second load in, the last batch, and we'll go from there. Code word CELL, CELL. So there's a few pieces that I can't get to depopulate, to get the gold off. So there's some pins like this. These ones have been rinsed, and it's because these ones float. They're floating on the surface, and obviously weren't pushing up against the steel. I even tried grabbing them with the tweezers and forcing them against the steel, but it doesn't seem to want to work. There's this one here, which I'm just rinsing in some water at the moment, and this is from an electric shaver. A nice gold coating on that, but I just can't get the strip. I've even held it to the positive and it won't strip, so it's not a problem. These things can just go aside, and I'll put them in a nitric solution at some stage. So just going through these ones here now, picking out the ones that are done, almost finished, but there's a small bunch like this one that aren't done yet. So it's hard to tell when they're all coated in black, but anyway, I'll just pick through them all, and then there should only be a few left in there soon, and then I'll be able to go to the next stage. So I'll carry on doing that. Not much for you to see when it's all black. Whatever I can't get the strip, if I leave them in there and they just don't strip, then I'll put them in a nitric bath sometime. But this is really good, because all of these things would have, if I did it in nitric, they would have to have consumed so much nitric acid to dissolve all the base metals. You know, most of these are probably made from copper or steel, and it takes a lot of nitric acid to dissolve all that. So I like this way because it just takes the gold off and leaves the base metals behind. So I'll just press on and see what I can get done without having to take too many out. Hopefully I can get them all done. That's all I've got left. These pieces don't seem to want to fully deplate. Not exactly sure why. I'm going to put them down in one more shot. Leave them in there for 20 or 30 minutes or so. I can see a lot of the gold's off. These are like copper based, so it looks like it's still got gold on it, but it's not. It's copper, but there's just little bits of gold on them still. So if I can show you. Some of them I may have missed. That one's alright. That's alright. I seem to have missed all these. I think at first I thought that they still had gold, but as it's draining I can see that it's silver. Not silver, copper. But yeah, most of these are still got gold on them, like that one. And inside there, that pin there, the outside's done, so I'll have to separate that. Same with that. A lot of the parts that are inside are insulated by the plastic. This one's alright. So almost there. I'll just give these a thorough go over, make sure that I didn't miss any more. And like I said, I'll put them all back in for a bit more. And then once I'm done, all of these are going to be scrubbed in water with a toothbrush to make sure I get any gold that's clinging to it off. And then I'll really be able to see if any of them are still got gold on them or not. And any that do really have gold on them still will they'll go aside and go in a nitric bath at some stage. Code word recovery. As you can see, a lot of these are done. It's just this last few. So shouldn't be long now. Alright, so I've got as much off as I can get. There's just a small pile here that doesn't want to deplate anymore. That's fine. So I've had it draining, and now I'm going to put the whole basket in the water. The power source is turned off. I'll just use that to hold it with. And I'm also going to put, I can pick this up, the lead in there so it doesn't deteriorate overnight in the sulfuric acid. So I'll put this in the water and put my power supply away, rinse my tweezers off, cover up my sulfuric acid for safety as I carry it outside. Just gently put this lid on. Alright, so now I'm going to carry that and that outside where I can continue the process most likely tomorrow. And I'll show you when that happens. Code word nugget. Okay guys, before I go outside and continue the procedure, I just wanted to say that for less than the cost of a cup of coffee, you could become a channel member. There's a button just down there that you can press to become a member, and it would help me immensely. Like, I paid $100 for all these pans so that I can give them away to you guys to say thanks for watching my channel. That's way more than what I get from any revenue from YouTube. So if you guys were able to help me and be a channel member, then it's going to enable me to do more things like that for you guys. If you feel like you're getting any value from my videos and you want to buy me a cup of coffee, I'd be really grateful. Alright, let's go outside and start the procedure. It's been a few days since I did this. One, because we had a heat wave, and two, because I wanted the gold to settle. I wanted to reuse the sulfuric acid. However, it hasn't settled, and I'm just going to have to use it up. So what I'm going to do, for simplicity reasons, is to pour it off into this beaker. Actually no, I won't. I'm gonna deal with the sulfuric acid later. I was going to pour off the top clear section into another beaker to reuse it, but it hasn't happened, so I'm just going to have to cover it up for safety and deal with that towards the end of the video. For now, I'll move it out of the way. Still no gloves on. However, I will be using gloves for this part. So this is going to have traces of sulfuric acid in it, but not much. So from when I've taken it out of the container and put it in here, it would have carried little bits over. There's not enough to hurt me, but I just don't want it on my skin anyway, and now I'm going to be physically handling this stuff, so I'm going to want to put gloves on. And I'm going to put these to start with into a pot full of water. This is just plain water, tap water. It doesn't have to be distilled. And I'm going to scrub those first with a toothbrush, make sure I get all the gold off it and put them aside. And then I'm going to tip all of this water with all these pieces into there as well, so that it's harder to get my hand in here to wash it, easier to do it in there. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to put gloves on so I can deal with it, give it all a scrub, and I'll go to the next step after that. So I'll put my gloves on and get ready. Alright, so just giving this a good scrub. It's only for whatever's caught in the pores of the mesh. Probably won't be able to get it all out. It doesn't have to try. And the lead, as usually, has a nice coating of gold on it. So like I said, this won't hurt you because it's too weak, but I just don't want it on me. You know, there's no point in mucking around with acids, just be careful. So now I'll tip all this in and give this a little bit of rinse. Doesn't matter too much because it's going back in there later, so that can sit there for now. And now I painstakingly just go through all these, just give them a quick brush down. Probably won't be able to get it all off, but you know, I can also sort of swirl it around in the thing like that to help. So I won't show you all of this because it's going to take a while. Code word sulfuric. And I'll come back when I've cleaned all these up as best I can. Okay, so I've finished all that, and out of all of this metal, the only pieces that had enough gold to sort of worry about was this little pile here. And all I have to do is like grab hold of the outside with cutters and this side with pliers and pull that through. There's one little connector here that still has nice gold on it. So this little pile here can either start my next batch, or it can go and next time I treat something with nitric acid or whatever, I'll sort that out anyway. So this is all scrap now. There's no metal left in the large pot. Like I said, this beaker will get used again in a minute, so there's no point in worrying about a little bit of gold that's in there because that's going to stay in there anyway. Now it's time to deal with this sulfuric acid. Now, those who know me, follow me, would know that I try and use acids up as much as I can and reuse them wherever I can. And like I said, I wanted to reuse that, but I can't. There's no possible way of me filtering that unless I have glass filters, like a fiberglass filter, because paper filter would just eat straight through it. That is potent stuff, 98%. If I put some of that on a rag will catch fire. That's how bad it is. So I'm going to stand up to this. There's no better way to do this, unfortunately, but I have to pour it into the water so I get a nice hold of it. And you always pour acid into water, never water into acid. And you're going to hear it fizz and carry on because it's so strong. It's going to be an exothermic reaction. It's going to get really hot in there. And I've got no choice but to pour this in, rinse all the gold out of it, and it'll all settle in the bottom of the water. So here we go. I'm pouring away from me so I can't get any splashes come back at me. I don't know if you can hear that fizzing, hissing. There's a couple of bits of metal still in here. You see the steam coming up and all that gold in the bottom of the container. So I'm not going to put my hand in there, even though now it's diluted. It's still going to be pretty strong with all that in there. So I'm going to just use the paintbrush to give this a bit of a clean. Not paintbrush, toothbrush, sorry. Oh geez, that glass is hot. There's a bit of on the outside that from where I had it sitting on the surface. Oh, this is hot. Geez, it's hot. Hot, 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 hot. Lucky I've got cast iron hands. Okay, so now that can go over here. You can see that's nice and clean now. Oh, there you go. Now it's a waiting game for that gold to settle down. It might take another day or two, I don't know. And then I will use probably a small beaker like this to scoop off the gold so I can see when I get closer to the bottom. There might be some stuff floating on top, so I'll get the squirt bottle and see if I can knock it down. If not, I'll scoop that off and pour that back into this beaker, and I'll eventually get all the water down as best I can, and then it can all get poured back into there so I can actually see what's going on, and then leave another day or two for that to settle so I can see the clear water and then the gold on the bottom. And once I've done that, I'll come back to that point and I'll show you what we do next. Had a bit of drama overnight. One of the chickens got in here, knocked over a beaker, and it's all over the floor. Nothing to do with what I'm working on at the moment, luckily, but it was a beaker that I had with all kinds of sediment on there. So these two beakers are finished. I've poured all the solution through, and they're very brittle now. I can't even get it out without breaking it. I'm going to have to get a stir rod or something and try and hit. Where's the stir rod gone? Pipette would do, I think. Try and get this out into a beaker. It's all crumbly. I've never seen it like this before. Anyway, I'm going to get all these filters into the beaker. I'll have to squirt all this off. Same with the next one. I've got this one to do here, and I'll come back once that's done so I can put some aqua regia in here and start dissolving the gold. Okay, so I've got the funnel nice and clean. All the gold's in here now. With a bit of water, doesn't matter, that's not going to hurt anything. I'll put some hydrochloric acid in there. Doesn't need to be a specific amount. And I'm going to use a tiny bit of nitric, incremental additions. So a little bit now, and if I need more, I can always add more. Better to do that than put too much in and then waste it by denoxing it. So, sorry, I didn't realise you couldn't see all that. Put it on the heat, turn it on, and let that cook. Okay, so that's been boiling away, and it looks dirty. It doesn't look like a nice gold solution as you'd expect it to be, but that's probably because I had dirty coloured sulfuric acid. I know that it wasn't actually dirt, but it dirty coloured. I don't know why it's discoloured, but it has. So I've got to filter it. There's all sorts of junk, bits of paper and filter and things in there, so I'm going to give that a filter, and it should hopefully then come out nice and golden. I'll do a test first. I'll get some filter paper and ready, and we'll do a stannous. Okay, do a little bit on some paper. As you can see, that's a positive for gold. So I'll start filtering it and we can drop the gold. As you can see, it's coming out nice and yellow. It's just going to filter out all the rubbish. I put some SMB in yesterday and the gold has dropped nicely. There's a nice layer at the bottom there. I'll pour this off into my wash vessel. And give it some rinses with some hot water. It's not boiling hot, but it's hot enough. Just let that settle. So I'm going to go through the wash process. No point in showing you, I've done it before. And once it's finished, washed, I'll melt it up and show you what we got. Okay, gold lovers, I've got the little gold dot, I suppose you'd call it. So keep in mind that what we processed is not considered anything close to even high grade as far as gold recovery goes. You know, your chips and everything are far better. The pins and the connectors and that there are way down the bottom. But still not a little bad button. I think it's quite good for what we did. It wasn't exactly hard work. It wasn't exactly a long process. Just a bit dangerous is all. Before I show you what I weighed, I want to show you what hot sulfuric acid can do. Can you see that burn? So a piece of hot acid, a drop of hot acid landed there about 4 or 5 years ago, and in a matter of seconds it ran down my arm because my arm was facing downwards, and it was raw, open burn for months before that healed. And as you can see, it's even eaten right through the tattoo. And that was just a couple of seconds. From the time it took to hit there and roll down, it was hot sulfuric acid, 98% pure. So it is bad stuff. So that was just one little drop that spattered out when I did something, I don't know what it was, and splashed a drop on my skin. That was, I can't tell you how sore that was, and it was raw. It was like the worst blister you could ever imagine that popped, and it oozed, and it was just downright gross and painful. So always be careful. I wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't anywhere near some baking soda or anything like to neutralize it. I quickly ran inside, washed it with soapy water, but by then it was too late. It's just really bad stuff. So please be careful. Okay, so I'll turn this on and see what this little dot weighs up. It's a bit dirty. It needs to be, see if I can flip it over because it looks nicer that side. It needs to be refined, which is fine because I've got other gold that I need to refine anyway. I just can't quite grab it. It's flat on one side and round on the other. There we go. I don't know how well you can see that. So we've got 0.38 of a gram, which isn't bad. Okay, so basically now it's up to you guys who have watched and listened to the whole video to have all those code words written down, and the first person, you've got to follow the rules carefully, okay? So I don't want any comments written in the video comments. I don't want any words written down that other people can cheat. I want either an email to peter@gmail.com. I'll have that in the description anyway. Or if you can message me on Facebook. A lot of you do know how to message me on Facebook. I've got a gold refining page. A lot of people go through that. I've showed it in my other videos. So you either message me on Facebook or email me with all the words, and the first person who will tell me that I've only got one pan to give away. Only giving away one pan. So I've got lots of them to give away, but only one in each video. So the first person to tell me all the code words by the correct form, either email or on Facebook, will receive a gold pan. Alrighty? Alright, so good luck, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching. See you next time.